Hi, everybody. I'm Fallon Saldo from Keller Williams, and this is Nick Swain, Senior Loan Officer from Movement Mortgage. We are here today to discuss credit counseling. Before we start, Nick, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your company?
Yeah, well, I'm a Senior Loan Officer with Movement Mortgage. I've been in the business about 7 years. I got into the business just because I love helping people,
Yes.
getting them into homes. Credit counseling, probably half of my buyers are people that may not have qualified in the initial, but
Yes.
come back to me, whether it's 2, 4, 6 months down the road.
Yes, and something that I want to make clear is that he is a senior loan officer. He's not an official credit counselor, but it is a large part of his job, and I wanted to ask him some preliminary questions for those of you who are out there and afraid to step into a mortgager's office or a bank because you're afraid of your credit. Understand it's just a preliminary thing, and you can take steps to make it better. So there, Nick, what is credit counseling?
Credit counseling really, in my opinion, is any improvement on your credit, right? So it depends on the individual. Some people are at one point, maybe sub 620, they need to get to a 620. Some people are at a 700, they need to get to a 740. So really, credit counseling is any improvement from your current credit scores, your current credit profile, to where you want to be.
Yes, normally people want to raise it so that they can be approved for a larger mortgage. Is that correct?
Larger mortgage, different loan products, right? So the credit score requirements for a conventional loan are going to be different than an FHA loan, but it really depends on what the individual needs. Does that program accommodate it, or do they have to increase their credit to qualify for a different program?
Absolutely. When should someone contact a credit counselor?
It depends. Typically, any time that you feel your credit isn't where it needs to be, typically you're going to want to speak with someone first off, right? So you're trying to apply for a loan. Perhaps you do qualify in the initial. One thing that I think is important, that people know that all lenders have guidelines that they have to follow, basic guidelines. And then a lot of banks will have overlays. So in addition to those guidelines, they have additional requirements that you must meet. So you may think you need credit counseling because you talk to Bank A, but they might have an overlay where you already do qualify for that product if you talk to a different bank, a different loan officer.
Yes.
So I think to start really and determine if you need credit counseling, the initial is speak with a loan officer, speak with the bank, right?
Yes.
Kind of figure out where you are now.
Yes. Open up the conversation, and do not be afraid to open up the conversation. How much does credit counseling cost?
Credit counseling can cost anything from a monthly obligation, $20-some odd a month.
Okay.
It really depends on what you need for assistance. Myself, I don't charge anything, right? Because I'm not a credit counselor per se. My reward is taking someone who doesn't particularly or necessarily qualify for the product, work with them over the course of 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 months.
Yes.
And when they do buy a home, that's when I receive my my benefit. Or
so it's part of your service.
Exactly.
Just as I educate people on the home buying and selling process. How long does a counseling session take?
It depends on the individual. If it's a very, minimal increase that they need, the credit isn't in total disrepair, it's very minor stuff. It can be a quick 10, 15-minute conversation. Here's what you need to do.
Yes.
And follow up. On the other hand, it can be a situation where you have a lot of work to do, and we really have to dive into the specifics. It might take half an hour, it may take 45 minutes. We might have to do a follow-up call.
Yes.
We might need more information. So that it really depends. It's it's case specific as to how long the counseling session takes.
And where would someone go for credit counseling?
Well, again, it depends on the severity. It depends on your specific circumstance. You can always reach out to myself, any loan officer, get an initial kind of feedback on where you're at.
Yes.
And if you are in that category where it really is going to take a lot of work, you're in severe disrepair, you may want to reach out to a professional credit counselor that might offer debt settlement, things of that nature, which I do not.
Yes.
So.
But you can point them in the right direction.
Absolutely, I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
And does credit counseling affect one's credit?
Well, it should, right? It should certainly improve your credit.
Yes.
Really credit counseling on my end, from what I do is I give you advice, I give you direction, on what you need to do. Essentially, I'll pull your credit.
Yes.
Or the individual's credit, and I can run simulations through the credit bureau. We use Credit Plus at our company right now.
Okay.
And I can run what's called a score wizard, a what if simulator.
Okay.
So I can take various accounts and kind of pay off this, pay off that, pay your balance down to this dollar amount and see how it's going to impact your credit score.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
That is really
absolutely
cool. I didn't know that existed.
You know, so again, it's not necessarily a situation where you need extensive credit repair. You know, maybe you have to pay down a revolving balance and settle a couple old medical collection accounts, and that might be all it takes.
Yes,
so.
And those really do feel like ghosts in your closet or skeletons in your closet, and you've got to bring it to light in order to get through it. And it's not that big of a deal as long as you are focused and willing to follow up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Follow through.
Take the first step. So.
Exactly. Does a credit counselor fix a person's poor credit?
Yes, you know, I mean, that's what they're going to do, right?
Yes.
They're going to take and identify the issues that are prohibiting you from moving forward with a particular loan program.
Yes.
Here's how you can resolve it, right? And as long as you do that, at least with me, right, 9 times out of 10, your credit's going to get to where it needs to be, and then you then fit into that, you know, that guideline box for that particular loan program.
Yes. And does a credit counselor offer debt settlements? I know you're not a credit counselor, but do you know if credit counselors themselves offer those debt settlements? A
lot of credit counselors will reach out on your behalf and offer to settle debts. But one thing I always like to stress, Fallon, is that I don't know about 9 out of 10, but oftentimes you can do the things that those credit companies are doing.
Yes.
You can do them yourself, and you don't have to pay them the fee on top of it.
That is true.
Right. So that's the first step, and then, you know, identifying what the issues are. Are they something you can take care of? Or is it something more involved that you might need to, you know, seek professional counseling on?
And have someone maybe hold your hand through it?
Sure, yeah.
How does someone obtain a copy of the credit report?
Well, everyone is able to get 1 free copy from each bureau for 12 months, right? So you just log on to TransUnion, Equifax, Experian.
Per year?
Per year, yep.
Okay.
Alternatively to that, you know, again, you can speak with a financial institution, a bank, a loan officer, have them pull your credit, and they can send you a consumer copy.
Okay.
And that's going to list everything. So you can look at what the loan officer is looking at, right? In my instances, I will send you a copy. You can pull it up. We'll both look at it and make sure that everybody's on the same page, line item through line item, you know, go through it. So.
And I didn't ask you this prior, but when someone sees something on the credit report that they don't agree with, do you know what steps they can take if they see something that they don't feel they did?
Yes, you can dispute it directly with the bureau. So on the credit report that you receive, there's going to be contact information for the bureaus, TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. And if you do have issue with a particular trade line, right, you dispute that trade line. You're going to have to provide documentation to the bureau, right, to resolve that dispute. But if indeed it is, you know, a false trade line, then certainly dispute it, get it resolved, and get it off your credit report.
That's nice to know. What are simple ways for someone to improve their credit?
The easiest way, I guess the rule of thumb is revolving, right? So you have revolving, you have installment accounts. Revolving are going to be your credit cards, right, where you have a credit limit, and the payments based off that, you know, that monthly balance.
Yes.
Then you have installment debts, right? So that's going to be your car loans, your mortgage loans, anything that has a set number of payments, a set payment. And the rule of thumb is revolving accounts, right? You want to be at 30% of your available credit line.
Okay.
Every time that card reports and you're at 30% of your available credit line, it's going to bump up your score.
Nice.
Right? Every 30 days. Installment debts, really just stay away from late payments. You know, call the creditor. You know, try to get some type of, hey, I might be a little bit late this month.
Yes.
But I'm going to set up a payment, and maybe they won't report it to the bureaus, right? So just be proactive. If you know you're looking at perhaps a tight month financially, reach out to the creditor. You know, 'cause a lot of them will work with you.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people want to hide away from what they don't want to face. It's very important to just, people are out there to help, especially if you're borrowing their money. So that's important. And something we also discussed prior is, when you pull someone's credit, there are 2 things that you're looking at. What are those 2 things again?
Well, there's first off your credit score,
yes.
right? So each loan program, whether it's FHA, USDA, conventional, there's certain minimum credit score requirements, right? And then in addition to that, you're going to have certain allowable lates, right? So late payments in the past 30 days, mortgage lates, right?
Yes.
If you have default on federal debt, right, in your collection accounts, that's oftentimes going to be
student loans.
Student loans, yes. Well, not all student loans, but it depends if it's federal. You know, sometimes you have something like an ITT tech, something like that. That's not federal; it's state, right? So that's not an automatic deal breaker.
Yes.
But you know, I mean, I can't say it enough. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no specific answer.
Yes.
It's really specific to that individual. So the best way to do it is pull your credit, speak with a financial professional, a loan officer, a bank, and always get a second opinion.
Very good.
You know, because I believe we spoke about it earlier, but there's overlays.
Oh, yes.
Right? So what one bank tells you is an issue may not be an issue for, you know, for base guidelines.
And before we close, is there anything that you would like to add about credit counseling or your services?
Not really. I mean, I think we went over it all. I mean, I can't stress enough that the most important step is reaching out to someone for that initial credit pull. Discuss your situation, right? Sometimes you don't even have to pull credit.
Yes.
Right? Well, what's going on? You had a bankruptcy, it was 6 months ago. Okay, well, I know right off the bat that we have to wait until this time.
Okay.
You know, again, just reach out, have a discussion, be transparent, right? And at least in my case, in most you know, mortgage professionals, they'll work with you. You know, because although it might not be something that myself or whomever may be able to help you with today, it certainly is something that we can help you with down the road if we have a proper plan in place.
And if someone wants to reach you, how can they?
You can reach me directly on my business cell phone. It's 413-324-6940. My webpage is www.movement.com/nick.swain.
And I'm Fallon Saldo. You can contact me 413-923-4024 if you're looking to sell or buy in Massachusetts. I had a great time today. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. If you have any questions, please post them. Have a great day.
Take care.